Lee, it's great to have you on again. Last game of the season. I mean, of course, they've had a week to kind of digest the Bolmere result as well. When you look back and you've had time to analyse the game as well, was there bits where you were pleased with, and there was bits where you've been able to work on in training?
Yeah, we're pleased with the majority of the game, the way we attacked, the way we defended in certain areas. We defended really well from the front as a team, shutting down all the options. I think the biggest difference was just our defending in the defensive third, and that led to the first two goals ultimately. So we've spoken about it, we've addressed it, we've done some training sessions on it. And I don't think they happen again in the way they happened against them. And ultimately, we need to keep on proving right to the end of the season. So, yeah, we worked hard in training as always, and the players were all on board with what was seen in that game and what needed to be addressed in that game. So we've done that. We think it'll be an ongoing process, but again, it's another game that just makes us as better and stronger because there was fine margins in that game up until that point, really. So yeah, I'm excited for this Sunday now.
Because we were talking about the game, talking about the result after the game, and it didn't feel like a 4-0 result. I mean, given that we had chances in the game, and you talk about the fine margins as well, but do you feel like as well, even with going into next season where you think, right, okay, we've had the chances, but if we want to be a really top team, we need to be a bit more ruthless going forward.
Yeah, I think overall I was quite disappointed in the game. Not because we lost, because obviously they deserved to win in the end ultimately. But I think it's those fine margins where you could have a crazy 5 minute spell or one lapse of concentration. Because up to that point, it was a tight game, and we've played some very tight games against teams in top half of the table in the second half of the season, and that's really pleasing. And you've got to look at those positives and take those positives away. But in order to be competitive in this league and not to be in relegation fights and so on, you have to minimise those opportunities for the opposition because, like you saw against Bournemouth, it was never a 4-0 game. It was a lot tighter than that for the majority of the game. But that's what it ended up being. And take nothing away from Bournemouth, they have got that quality that if you let them go, give them too much space, too much time, elapse in concentration, which we did, they can punish you, and they did. So yeah, they're the things that we've got to get better at in order to be a team that's competitive and taken seriously and more top half of the table material, really. But we're a young side. We're new to the league. The players are learning constantly, and every game they get better and better, and they're willing to learn and they take things on board. And you can't ask for any more than that, to be fair.
Definitely. I think when you look at, like I say, we've had too many results, I think, this season where I feel like we've probably deserved more than what we've had in terms of the game. But, looking at sort of fast forward and then to sort of this week in terms of training, any, positives, no players have been injured.
Touch wood, Joe. They're the two things that we want to keep away from injuries and red cards, because we want to finish strong to the end of the season and have a fully fit and a good squad to choose from in these last few games. And Barnsley will be no exception. They're a physical side, as we saw. I watched them play Huddersfield this weekend. So we've seen things that we need to work on in training to prepare for them. But yeah, touch wood on that we're getting stronger and players are returning from injury, and they're returning at the right time to finish the season on a high, all being well.
Given that, of course, it's the last game of this last league game of the season, and of course, the County Cup is on the horizon, of course, in a week's time. Do you, as a manager, kind of feel, in the back of your head, you think, right, you've got maybe one eye on who I want, who I maybe want to start with in the County Cup final? Because, like I said, there's two massive games coming up. But do you have sort of one eye on sort of this Sunday, right? Okay, who maybe makes the final 11 for the County Cup final?
Yeah, you do. Of course, you do. Firstly, Barnsley, we want a solid performance at home, and we've been fantastic at home, really, with the performances and results at home. So I wouldn't expect anything less, and the players are hungry to play. So, apart from managing any possible injuries or card situations, you want players to perform. You want players to sort of go, watch me. This is what I can do. You need to consider me for the finals. You've kind of got your group, your core group that you kind of know that's what you need. Then there's a couple of fringe players that you're bouncing between. whether you're questioning, are they able to deliver, fitness at this point for some of them, because you want to pick your strongest squad. But that all, you can't look past Barnsley and just dismiss that for the cup final. Barnsley is a game we want to win. It's a game we want a good performance in. And yeah, that could determine positions for the final ultimately. But, the players know what they need to do on Sunday, and they'll want to win this game Sunday, finish the league on a high. And also that then goes into great preparation and confidence for the final as well.
When you think about Barnsley, I mean, you talk about the physical side of it because we know they're a physical side, which they have been from coming down from the National League North as well. Is it a way where can the team can go toe to toe in terms of physicality, or is it a case of maybe looking at something a little bit different, a little bit more technical this Sunday?
Um, yeah, I think if we get the personnel and the matchups right, I think we can. I think we can challenge. I think you saw against Boldmere. Boldmere have two fantastic centre midfielders, and I wouldn't say we struggled aerially against them, but they won 9 out of 10 balls in the air, but we didn't make it easy for them. So it's all about challenging in certain areas of the pitch. So you either look to challenge in those areas of the pitch and make it difficult, or you play to your own strengths and you keep it in and out of those areas of the pitch. So we'll be doing a little bit of both. We'll make sure we've got our matchups right as much as we can, but also playing to our strengths and the way we want to play, and nullifying their strengths really. And we think we know how to do that. The difference is, are you able to do that, and can you deliver it on the day? And of course, doesn't mean to say what Barnsley put out on Sunday and the way they played on Sunday against Huddersfield means they'll do the same again this weekend. You can't presume that. But I think we have to look at our strengths and play to our strengths. And that's when I think we'll be okay with things.
Do you think as well confidence and as well is going to go into it this Sunday where, if you get on top of them, so first 10, 15 minutes, do you think potentially you might see the frustration coming out of Barnsley and that might play into your hands a little bit?
Yeah, potentially. Potentially. One thing we know from our team, we can be a goal or two down and we don't get rattled, and the players rally together and we stay strong, and that. And other teams aren't always like that with that togetherness. And we'd certainly like to put that pressure on Barnsley away from home to see how they respond. Really, I haven't seen that from them as such. But then, when we played them, we were very early on. We've signed players since then. We've got a style of play since then. We're a much better team. But take nothing away from Barnsley. They are a good physical side, and they will be up for this game on Sunday at home. Of course, we know a few of their players, and some of the players will have to prove that Lincoln United is the place to be, and hopefully give a good performance on Sunday, really. But yeah, Barnsley aren't going to be easy. There's no way that's an easy game. But yeah, we hope to jump on them early and capitalise on the performances we've had at home of late.
Do you think as well, and we talk about the last two games and going into sort of the summer as well, do you as well kind of look at sort of one eye on sort of the squad and think, right, okay, even with a good performance, two good performances, in the last two games, you think, right, okay, where can we really add and really strengthen in the summer? Do you kind of have maybe one eye now, or do you kind of look towards the end of the season?
Yeah, we know where we need to strengthen really to go into next season based on what we've had this season. It's not always about looking for better players as such. What we found over the years, our experiences, it's all about the type of characters you bring in, and the people that you bring in, and how they fit into what we have at Lincoln, and how we want to operate. Because at the minute there's a real togetherness with the team, and that's important. So it's not always about talent, and also the other thing, players are performing. So, but it's also about having depth, because if we have a couple of injuries in certain areas, we may not have the depth at the moment. So, I mean, if you look at Loughborough, who have won the league this year, I remember when we played them at theirs, and I remember when they put their bench on and they was hammering us at the time. And I looked at the players that they brought on, and I was like, wow, that's depth, that's strength, and that's why they've won the league. They have the quality, starting 11 all the way through to the 16th player, and that's for a manager, that's a great thing to have. So yeah, we need to strengthen in areas. We need to have cover in certain areas to make sure we have that. We have limited options in certain areas if we get an injury or a player's missing. So yeah, we kind of already know that. We have those discussions quite early on, really, as managers, and know what we need to do really for next season.
Finally, then for the fans, then who've it's been a roller coaster of a season for a lot of the fans and a lot for the players as well. What would be your message then for the last two games going forward?
I think any fans that have been with us throughout, or maybe some of the fans that came early on in the season, I think they'll see a completely different Lincoln United side playing at home. Hopefully, the sun's shining, the players are up for it, and one thing these players give is 100%. And they did in the last game. To be fair, against Boldmere, it was just one lapse of concentration in one area of the field, and it opens the floodgates a little bit. And we've worked on that, so the players will give 100%, and they can play some good football, and they play some good football at home, John. We've had some good games, good results, and I think anyone that wants to come and watch a step forward women's team this Sunday at Lincoln United, it's a great opportunity because it will be a good game. Barnsley are a good physical side who also have quality as well, and it'll bring out the best in us really. So yeah, if you haven't been down to watch yet or you came early on, now's a good time to come and see us because they're playing as good as football as they've ever played this season so far.
So we'll look forward to that. Best of luck this Sunday, mate.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Appreciate it.